The bounty hunters. As Pukey's prosthetic hand clamps around the Begrob's neck, a blast rings out, and he shifts to point a pistol directly at the stranger who just fired a gun in the air. The shooter is another Begrob with shimmering blue carapace. She has a gunslinger's look with a decorative serape, a large brimmed hat, and on her armored left thigh has a clear holster on it. That's about enough there, girlie. You're going to leave the Offworlders alone and stop being so dang stupid, and you Offworlder, let her go. She ain't worth the trouble. A false touch of bravado there, seven-shooter Sally. Besides, I've got, the Begrob officer begins to say before her air car suddenly lets loose with its underslung stun cannon to try and tase Pukey's from the feet. Try is the operative word as Pukey jumps clean over the electrical blast and rips the false officer away from the car even as she tries to duck into it. There's the blast of another gunshot rings out, and the sand next to the officer's head detonates. Hands on your head, right now! Mordenon's spaceport is enough of a reeking mound of scum and villainy without it being home of the stupidest trio of tits to survive a sandstorm, Sally shouts out as she walks up. You're really something special. You know that? I told you, tits, that it's a bad idea to target Offworlders, and what do? Target Offworlders. Are y'all looking to get killed? But it's just a man, she protests, putting aside the three women right there. The fact that he threw a sword that chunky like a dang crossbow bolt says what to you? He's compensating? The girl on the ground asks. Wow, Pukey says in a voice both offended and impressed at the sheer blindness of the woman. No, it means he's a fighter. Y'all's little stunt where you try a quick snatch and grab with the fake copper routine ain't gonna cut it, Sally barks out. She then walks up and kicks the girl until she turns over. Now get before I put you full of holes. She tries to enter the car and take off, but Pukey's hand wraps around her neck and she's effortlessly lifted off the ground. Not until I get some actual answers, such as where and why you got this air car. She's an idiot. Looking to her for answers is like trying to dig for water where the sands run gold and white, Sally says. Let the idiot go. She ain't worth it. She's only just smart enough to not use lethal means to try and get what she wants, keeping her and her friends in the category of pest and not proper problem. I'll answer whatever questions you got. I would advise you to avoid trying this with my crewmates. They're more likely to just shoot you, Pukey says to the girl, and he drops her. She scrambles into the air car and zooms away. I'd like those answers, miss. Certainly there, partner. This way, if and you'd be so kind, she says as she starts reloading her revolver and then holsters it. Tina's bar's usually the best place for explanations. So do those three just cause endless trouble? If and they had anything in the way of brains or real weapons, they'd have been shot proper like by now. Right now, them three's just a dirty crack in the shell. A problem, but generally more a problem to root out than put up with. So less the local problem and more the local welcome mat, Pukey asks, and Sally lets out a nasty laugh at that. Something like that. Come on, let's get something cool to drink, she says and leads them about a block down and opening the way into a cool building. It's every inch a saloon out of the Old West combined with space-age tech. Grab a table. I'm grabbing myself something first as the explanations are likely long and dusty. This is weird, Slytherin says as he takes a place at the table and folds himself up a little into a chair and sinks into the bundle to relax. It's something the girls do as well, particularly Helen and Iris, as they both have far more tail than Amira. Is it always like this? It was weirder on Octor and Spin, but you stayed inside the ship for most of that. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Didn't you come in dancing and singing with some cons on your shoulder? Dancing and singing? What in the name of sand and stone did I miss? Sally asked, coming back. Just some casual conversation, Pukey says. So what the hell is going on here? Well, my off-worlder friends you're in the middle of about 5? No, 6 different types of people. That's putting aside whatever they believe in, or where they're from, or anything like that. And those are, well, the 6th are those that don't rightly care about the others and just sort of go around, Sally says with a smile before she takes a sip of her deep brown drink. Now, this world is divided in a whole heap in lots of ways, but one of the bigger ones is the use and appreciation of tech. So who did we run into? Y'all ran into a bunch of reachers who are reaching to leave, but ain't proper smart enough to pull it off in the proper way. So they try and make money, make a mess, and have to give up the money to pay for all the messes they make. They're reaching, but never getting what they want. What about those that get it? Amir asks. They leave more than you silly snake. Reachers are the plumb fools who can't pull it off, Sally says. Now y'all also got girls that are spacers. They're the girls and boys that call Morden Spaceport their home and like living where the water is easily accessed and the air is nice and cooled. Let me guess, there's also a faction for those that just stay primitive? That's right, partner. They're the settled. They're the types that think there's something pure and good in being close to the sand in scrubland. There's also the shifters who move back and forth between them all, usually for trade purposes. Then we got me and my type, the risers. We're slowly learning the tech ourselves and building up to spacer level. I was born when we were just getting gunpowder, and now I'm walking around with one of the most advanced wheel guns on the world. You know what? I'll meet that challenge, Iris says, and she pulls out a massive Ruger and places it on the table. Can I? Sally asks, pointing to the gun, and Iris nods. The Begrob woman takes it and expertly examines the weapon. Solid 6-shooter, gigantic bullets. This would go clear through a girl and maybe the wall behind her too. Proper wrist breaker, this one. Beautiful thing. Sally places Iris's gun back on the table, and then Nagasha tucks it away again before Sally draws her pistol and puts on the table. May I? Pukey asks, and there's a nod as Sally takes another sip. Lot of custom engraving in this. A master's touch. 8-round wheel, expertly oiled, well-loved. Wooden grip in an almost oak-like grain. .357 caliber. This is very well machined. He places it on the table in reach of Sally, and then pulls out his own massive pistol. It's of no basic make, but it's designed to work with his massive strength and ability. No wheel? Sally asks, examining it, and Pukey pulls it out of her unresisting grip, and he shows her the magazine in the grip, and then pulls back on the slide to eject the casing. Bottom fed? It limits the size of the bullets, but you can slide in extending magazines instead to have far more shots before you need to reload. Pukey explains, pulling out an extended magazine to show her. Lot of springs in all of this, Sally notes. Not quite as custom as what my sister made me, but handsome in how tough it is. Thank you, Pukey says. Now, I do have some more questions. You called this place a mound of scum and villainy. What did you mean by that? Only spaceport on the planet Offworlder. All the major money's here. All the easy marks, too. There's always some fool looking for a quick and easy bit of credit, Sally says. And why are you here? Business, same as you, I'll wager. No one comes to a place like Morden without a reason. I could just be here on vacation, Pukey says, and holds a serious/innocent face for a few moments before chuckling. Sally outright laughs in his face after that. You're cute Offworlder, but no one's got weapons, scars, or that look in their eyes without having gone through a lot, Sally says. Still, I wanted to make sure that you didn't start taking things too far and end up kicking the mounds looking for something that isn't there. Who do you work for? Pukey asks, and Sally pauses before smirking. Now that there's a question, she says, swirling her drink. But it ain't none of your business. And let me guess, making it my business is unwise, Pukey asks, and she nods. Fair enough. Change of topic, then. Sounds lovely. Have you heard of the Shatterstone Stoneworkers Guild? Pukey asks, and she flinches. That's a yes. Stones and sands. You just go for the nasty question by reflex, don't you? It's the job. I don't need details, but were they a legit guild before? He asks, and she nods. Pukey leans close after looking around. Were they cheated out of their pay? They were, but don't talk too much about it. Elsewise, the governess will slip your name to the... Sally begins to explain before the door opens and several officers step in. Ah, y'all were talking about them in public, weren't you? Yep, Pukey says, even as the officers walk over. There is a building tension in the air that he seems to be completely ignoring. Well, well, well. When I was told that the latest troublemaker was a man I didn't think he'd be right in the middle of his season, what's the matter, little boy? Balls over full and it getting you cranky? One of the officers asks, and Pukey stands up to let these women know just how much bigger he is and to turn and to make sure they can see the cybernetic eye. Things grow tenser still. He then slowly pulls out his bounty hunting license and shows it to them both. One of them grabs it and starts to squeeze. "Oops, it looks like your little play card broke under a simple grip," the officer says, shattering his license card, and then raises an eyebrow as Pukey smirks. "You're under arrest for destroying the lawful credentials of a legally accredited bounty hunter," Pukey says, and there is a great stillness. "And you think that any local judge will take your side over ours? I'm willing to kick things up all the way to the courts of Centris, especially as I have video evidence," he says, nodding up, and one of Slytherin's 2 cloaked drones unveils itself. "You think this will end well for you, little man? That you can just come here and throw your weight around? You're not wanted. Those bounties should never have been posted." "Unfortunately for you, a world in good standing must allow legal bounties to be permitted for posting, especially as there are clearly many problems the local law enforcement are unable or unwilling to solve." "Such as?" "I'm sure you can fill in the blanks," Pukey says. "Now, do you want to do something, or do you want to continue on with your day? Are you threatening me?" "No court would consider what I said a threat," Pukey replies. "We decide what the courts consider a threat," the officer says. "So you openly admit to judicial misconduct? On record?" Pukey asks, pointing up at the drone, and they look up again. "Do you have any idea what you're doing?" one of the officers asks. "Yes, I'm refusing to let a pair of bully girls push me around. I'm far more than you two or your entire force can take on in a fight, so just turn around and walk away. We have a call for your arrest," the one who crushed his ID says, "and I have legal standing to arrest you for the illegal destruction of my identification, and her for aiding and abetting," Pukey says, pointing from one to the other. "Do you really want to try this? You know what's soft skin? I do," the Vandal officer says before backhanding Pukey across the face, and he grabs her face before her helmet can actually retract, causing her to scream in sudden panic as she suddenly realizes just how fast the man is. The other brings up a pistol, and it's crushed by his cybernetic arm before he grabs her wrists. "Scaly, transport tags, containment area coupling," he barks out, and Slither moves to snap a Kutha-laced band around the wrists of both women, and they suddenly vanish in his grip. The saloon is dead silent as he looks up into the drone. "Litha, my dear, I hope you've saved all that." His communicator goes off, and the text message brings a smile to his face. "I did,"